we need an evaluator. It specifies how we are checking the value. Evaluator. Then we also need the value we are comparing to, which is the room number to string. And we can also specify if this search is case sensitive or not. In this case, let's just say it's not case sensitive. So first of all, we need a provider, and the provider will be a parameter value provider that will grab the value from the room's room number parameter. So it needs to be a parameter value provider. And for this you need the ID, the element ID of the parameter that we are checking. So I need to create a new element ID object and pass in the built-in parameter value. Built-in parameter value, which will be the room number. And then we check if this value equals to the value we pass into the rule. So we need a filter string equals. So this will be the evaluator. And that's it. As you can see, now we have all the parameters for the rule, which will be used by the filter. And then to get the list of objects that pass the filtering, we can use two elements. So collector, two elements. And as you can see, it will return an iList of elements. iList. Let's just call it rooms. And if we found a room that is already using the number we want to assign to the picked room, then we will swap its room number with it. So we need to check the count of the returned rooms. It should be either 0 or 1, because two rooms should not have the same number. So it's enough just checking if there are at least one. Then also we need to convert the result to room. So under rooms we get the first object and then set its room number to the value of the selected room, this number. And since the project template we used sets the regeneration option to manual, as you can see it here, regeneration option manual, which is the suggested one. Therefore, to make sure that the room number changes are visible for the user, we need to call regenerate on the active document once we change the room numbers. So as you can see, we changed one of the rooms number, we are changing the picked rooms number. Now we can regenerate the document. So UI document, regenerate. So we are finished with the implementation and can test the add-in. So let's just start debugging our add-in. And let's load the document where the room numbers are not in order. Just make these labels a bit bigger so it's easier to see what's going on. And under add-ins, external tools, there's my command, room renumbering. So let's just start it. You can start picking the rooms, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, it's working fine, and I already finished renumbering the rooms. You could also use the add-in manager that comes with Revit to test your add-in. As you can see, it can help you create your add-in manifest file. It enables you to run your external commands without an add-in manifest, and it also lets you load and unload your add-in within the same Revit session. Let's see how it works. When debugging a Revit add-in, you cannot do edit and continue. In other words, you cannot modify your code while it is loaded in Revit. Also, you cannot stop your project, modify it, compile it, and then reload it into the same Revit session through the debugger. If you think you would really need this feature, then you could have a look at the add-in manager tool, which you can use to register your add-in and also load and unload it in the same Revit session. But in order to use this tool, you have to make sure that in case of all your external commands and external applications, both the transaction mode and regeneration option are set to the same value, either manual or automatic. Also, when changing the transaction mode or regeneration option, make sure that your code is modified appropriately. For example, you cannot use regenerate in case of automatic regeneration option. That's why I commented this out. As you can see, when changing the code and recompiling, let's do it here. Let's change it to 6. Compile. Then using the add-in manager, the automatic mode, because those are the options we used, I can hit load and then find the DLL of my add-in, open. Then all the commands available are listed. I can select one of them and then just hit run. As you can see, the latest version of my add-in is being used. Let's just cancel it now. If you not only want to see the changes but also debug into your add-in, then you can use debug attached to process. Make sure that you're only attaching to the managed code, otherwise you could not detach from Revit without quitting the Revit process. So we attached to Revit. The add-in manager also has a faceless mode, which basically runs the last executed command again, which in my case is the room renumbering command, so I just hit it. And as you can see, the breakpoint that I set is hit nicely. Let's just continue. And now if I want to change the code of my add-in, I can just go detach. Now change the code, recompile, and then attach to Revit again. And as you can see, I can both hit the breakpoint and also I can see that the latest version of my add-in is being used. Also, since we want to modify our add-in while Revit is running, we need to make sure that it is not registered. In other words, Revit will not load it the normal way, and therefore I needed to edit the add-in manifest file and commented out both my application and command. Because if it's loaded by Revit the usual way, in that case Visual Studio would prevent you from overwriting your module with the latest build. Here is again the list of resources outside the Revit SDK. First of all, Jeremy Tamik has a really good blog that is updated with new and interesting articles almost every day, and also contains further samples for all the API functions we use today. Next we have the Developer Center, where you find a good overview of all API technologies that we support. And also, if you are interested, you will find some free .NET training material for you to work through. Then of course we have the various Autodesk discussion groups for you to check. If you need training, then please do check out our API training schedules, accessed via the autodesk.com/API training URL. Here you can also find many webcasts on specific topics such as family MEP and structure APIs. And finally, if you are interested in joining our ADN program, then please take a look at autodesk.com/joinadn, where you can find out about all the benefits that ADN membership has to offer. I hope you found this presentation useful. Have a nice day.